Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the live Q&A in LA every Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Glad you've come. Let's jump right in. Alright, so I started slightly early today. There's been a lot of good news going on, a lot of interest in Bitcoin lately, and the crypto markets in general have seen an upswing. So Fatty is here, McButterpants, Khalid is here. All right, that's two, so that's good. Let's get moving. Let's see. Let's switch over to this guy. Here we are. Okay. We'll talk a little bit about ADA. I've been getting a lot of questions about ADA. For some reason, it just happened to be one of those highly viewed videos, at least for my channel. I'm hoping that the renewed interest in cryptocurrency will bring more people to my channel to increase my views and increase my fame and fortune and all that good stuff. But I've watched videos in the past, but this one's gaining pretty good traction. Not as much as some in 2017, but so there have been a lot of questions concerning the ADA. We'll talk about that. All right. So the big news, of course, was the crypto rally from the 1st, and I did a live stream on Tuesday, just sort of to touch base with everybody because it was kind of exciting. Celtic fan, Jizzy Mac, John W, Paul G, Glenn, nice to see you from Denmark. That's really nice. So I did, I talked a little bit about the crypto rally on the April Fool's crypto rally. And I've been watching the price of Bitcoin. I pretty much keep an eye on it. But I'd been kind of hoping that it would break out from, it had broke over 4 and it had broke over 41 and it was kind of hovering in that range. I kept wondering if it was ever going to break over 42, and then it suddenly surged. And as you guys remember, like on the 1st and the 2nd, it surged all the way up to around 52, approaching 53, I think. But the good news, and it was down yesterday, the day before yesterday, and things back up. But the good news is that it's kind of been holding those gains. So let's see here. It's around 5,000 now. So that's the news story, that it held on to its gains. Let's look at the current prices here quick. Yeah, it's been hovering over 5,000, under 5,050 for most of the day, which is not bad. And you'll notice everything else is pretty much in the green. That's pretty good news. Stellar is up. Cardano's holding at 9. I think it was getting close to 10 there a few days back. But most everything took kind of a selling dip, if you would call it that. I'm not a big trader, so I'm not sure what all these terms are, but I've watched the market, and it went down, and now it's back up again today. So hopefully, maybe we'll move higher from here. We'll see. And there was quite a bit of interest in Bitcoin. I read a few stories about Bitcoin hit its highest total since November with Google search requests. Google search requests for Bitcoin tripled during recent price surge. So that's a good sign from that to me. And then a lot of bad news articles too, bashing Bitcoin, telling people not to buy Bitcoin, and the mainstream media, like Forbes and CNBC, had sort of, laid off Bitcoin. They figured, it was like, why hit it when it's down? So you hadn't seen that as many negative stories about Bitcoin. You were seeing a lot of adoption news in Bitcoin, which would normally have brought it up over the last several months, that really was not doing much for the market. And then, the negative stories about Bitcoin were sort of dropping off because people had sort of forgotten about Bitcoin, right? But then when Bitcoin had its surge this week, I started seeing more negative stories about Bitcoin. So it's kind of a good sign, right? They're back at it again. They're bashing Bitcoin again. But this time it's a little different. The way they're talking more about, they used to just say Bitcoin was a scam and used by criminals and that kind of stuff. And that's sort of, people don't buy that anymore, right? So now they're sort of attacking Bitcoin on its fundamentals. They say it's a speculative investment. I can't remember that article that I read. Why not to buy? Oh, I think it was don't buy Bitcoin. I think that was the article. Yeah, there we go. Not a horrible. Oh, that's a video. Interesting. I thought it was a news story, if I recall. Here it is. Not a mean story by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a normal wealth manager talking about how you should invest in real estate to get rent. You should invest in stocks. Nice looking guy, nice guy. Not really bashing Bitcoin on its fundamentals, just saying, hey, it's a speculative investment, and the only way you're going to make Bitcoin money off of it is if the price goes up, right? Whereas other types of investments are more stable, like real estate. You can charge rent. Stocks, you can get dividends, that kind of thing. But it was interesting that the story came out right during the surge. Don't buy Bitcoin. That was the headline. Don't buy Bitcoin. So I guess they're worried everyone's gonna think they can start buying Bitcoin again. Betty, nice to have you. Sailor to Life. Night, C-Dad, and everyone in the stream. Good night. Crypto Curious from Florida. BTC gets past 6,500. We're going to see 10,000. I like that. Gladiator. Hi. Let's see. News. What else have we got in the news? I like this story. I don't know if I talked about this on Tuesday. I'm not sure when this story came out. Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash fueling staggering 33 billion crypto rally. This was the 2nd or the 3rd of April, when we had this Bitcoin run up, and then if you looked at the charts, Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash were just going insane. Litecoin was up near $100, and before that it was down like 43, 45, whatever. And then Bitcoin Cash, I have no idea what it was, but it was not anywhere near 33. So 336. But so I thought that was nice that we had kind of a big altcoin surge, right? It kind of harkened back to the what we are used to. We're used to Bitcoin bringing the market up and then having a dip right after, up and down, volatile. Watching Bitcoin hover around 4,000 for a couple of months was kind of nerve-wracking for me. So this is my comfort zone. I'm used to cryptocurrency being volatile. I like it that way. As long as it keeps going up, right? Let's see, what else we got news-wise. All right, I think that's it. I was going to bring up there, this is a pretty good article about Brave and what it is about. It's a built-in, the Brave browser has a built-in cryptocurrency, and it's an ecosystem which is aiming to disrupt the way digital advertising is done, right? We all know, you know, that ads get spammed, and we all block ads, and we all, you know, we hate these spam ads that keep popping up while we're checking out websites. And the advertisers are not making money because people are ignoring their ads or blocking their ads. The only people making money are Facebook and Google. They're the ones harvesting all of it. You okay over there?
Yeah.
Kitchen noise. They're the ones harvesting all our data and selling it to the advertisers. But the advertisers and the end users are the ones that are getting the short end of the stick. Brave aims to turn that around. And the interesting thing about this article, if I can find that. Here we go. Here we are. The rise of Netflix and Patreon demonstrate that attitudes are changing. People are more willing to pay for high quality content online and support creators who they appreciate. So, you know, this whole thing about, oh, the web is free and that's why you have to endure all these irritating ads and everything, and people, oh, well, it's free. People are moving away from that. People are willing, like, you know, people used to download movies all the time. And when Netflix came around and said, look, you pay $10 a month or whatever, and you can watch all the movies on our platform, people were willing to do that, to get high quality content, you know, commercial free. And that's what Brave is attempting to do. They're betting on the fact that people are willing to pay a little bit to enjoy ad-free content and maybe earn a little money by watching targeted ads rather than getting hit with a bunch of ads they don't want to see and not getting anything out of it. So it's you know, it's quite a big. I know cryptocurrencies are one thing, but this whole idea of how the web should operate is pretty amazing. And if you look at the BAT token, it has seen quite a rise over the last. Now it's due for a pullback, I'm sure, but you know, it's approaching 32, and it was like 8 cents a couple weeks ago or about a month ago. If we look at basic attention token, you can see the chart. What is this, a 24-hour chart? It's still up. That's a 7-day chart. They all look the same. Let's go to CoinMarketCap and take a look at it, right? Maybe the chart will be more. So basic attention tokens about 25 by market cap. And let's look at the 1 month. All right. So here's our 1 month chart of basic attention token. Right. Back in 20 March. Where are we here? 19 cents. That's a bit high. Well, I mean, it was 19 cents, and now it's you know, like 30 cents. You know, and back it was 17 cents at the beginning of March. Right, so over the course of the month of March, it has made quite a few gains, and most of it is based on these stories about Brave browser and the new ecosystem. Finally, Tron move 3 cents. Here we come. Yeah, let's hope Tron can get some. The latest news on EOS. Do they have a wallet yet? Last thing I did was register my EOS holdings on EOS site before they went off ERC20 token to their own EOS mainnet. You know what? The problem I have with EOS is just too darn complicated for me. Not very user-friendly. And I think there's a bit of a language barrier issue as well. It's a Chinese, I think it's a Chinese company. So I'm sure they've got a lot of good underlying code, but as far as its usability, they leave something to be desired. It's hard to find a good EOS wallet. And when there were EOS wallets out there, it was because of the weird way its blockchain worked. You know, you had to get someone, you know, that already was on the blockchain to invite you, or you had to pay. I mean, it was just I gave up on EOS. I was like, you know what? I can't figure out how to get this EOS wallet set up, so I just sort of gave up on EOS. I have a little bit of it, but and I get a lot of people asking me, oh, show us how to do EOS on the Ledger. And I don't know that EOS is supported on the Ledger. I might be wrong about that. Let's take a look. But I always had problem with EOS wallet. It was always just complicated. I don't know how many times I can say it. I had, doggone it, I had every intention of doing a video on EOS once I got the wallet up and running, and so on my own I had trouble, and I never was able to make that video that I had planned to do on EOS. Alright, something's not right here. Alright, let's just focus here. I've entered my PIN incorrectly twice. Unless I've somehow changed my PIN. Oh, whoa, that was kind of scary. I could have sworn I was entering the right PIN. And then, oh... yeah, the Ada app is a little wonky. It won't let me out of the Ada app. Oh, well. That's what I get. Oh, man. Alright, I'm just going to have to disconnect and reconnect again to get... So I was in the Ada app when the Ledger went to sleep. And so when I woke it back up by entering the PIN, it was kind of in the Ada app and it wouldn't let me out. I couldn't just exit the app. Something went wrong. I've had that happen to me before. And so I basically just have to disconnect and reconnect. Okay. Alright, here we go. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, so I'm going to allow manager on this. I don't think that they support EOS. I really don't. Maybe they do. Okay, well, they do. All right. And so the way to do it is, let's see. We install the EOS. Check the user guide for step-by-step instructions. Welcome to the Fairy wallet. Okay. So I guess you would have to download this Fairy wallet if you wanted to. And as you can see here, there's no step-by-step on here at all. It just, oh, okay. What is the before you start? Okay. Install the EOS application. We know how to do that. Install the Fairy wallet. Okay, we'll download and install that. Connect to mainnet. Alright. Alright, see, you got to connect to the mainnet using one of these endpoints. Create an EOS Ledger wallet account. I don't know. I might do a video on it, but it's still not straightforward to me. See, we gotta sent, receive tokens, delegate, stake. I don't know. All right. Yeah, so that would be the way to go if you were interested in storing your EOS on the Ledger. Now, I'd like to point out at this juncture, I get a lot of questions about how the Ledger Nano works and how wallets work. And like I did my my ADA video that a lot of people saw, and I would still get people that would say, okay, I watched your video, now can you please tell me how to put ADA in my Ledger? And I'm kind of like, I thought I just explained that. They think that there's some sort of magic trick that will just allow you to just put your coins in the ledger, you know. And for many cryptocurrencies, the only thing that the ledger is doing is storing the private key for a particular cryptocurrency. It has no application wallet type support for that cryptocurrency beyond just having the app, which is basically generates a private key for a particular cryptocurrency. Stellar is like that. Tron is like that. Apparently EOS is like that. ADA is like that. So you have to, once you put the app on the device, the private key gets stored on the device, and you have to download some sort of third-party wallet to interface. And then people get confused. They go, well, is it in Yori or is it in the ADA Lite? And I'm saying, well, it's in neither of those wallets. Those wallets interface with the private key. And that brings me to, I want to point this out as well. I had a lot of questions that people were asking me about Yori Ledger. And Yori is a browser extension, which basically you click it and it takes you to this web page. It's kind of a weird browser extension. But it will only hold one wallet at a time. And a lot of people are asking me, hey, I already had the Yori wallet and it's got some ADA in it. What do I do? And my immediate thought was, well, just if you have a wallet that you've already created by using a private key, then just open the ADA wallet from your ledger, and that's a different wallet. But apparently Yori will only support one wallet at a time. So it's hard, you know, if you've got a Yori wallet that you created with some ADA in it, there's no way to really integrate that with the new one that's ledger based. Now what you could do is just open a different browser and use you could use Yori in Chrome, and it would be a completely separate wallet, right? See here, it's going to let me create a wallet. So let's say I had a Yori wallet that was based in my Brave browser or my Edge browser or wherever the heck it is, and I have some cryptocurrency in it. Just open a different browser, but I guess it's a Chrome-based extension, so you'd have to choose either Chrome or Brave, and just use a different browser, and then you could consolidate your coins. In other words, I'm assuming you probably would like the ledger-based solution since it's more secure. So create the ledger-based wallet and then just get your receiving address and go back to the old Yori wallet that you created in a different browser and just transfer all the coins over to the new one. Let me see if I can explain a little bit with ADA Lite, because ADA Lite will let you go back and forth. Okay, so let's say I had an ADA Lite wallet and I used a 15-word mnemonic, and I had that 15-word phrase copied down in a text file somewhere secure, and I had ADA in that wallet. Well, that's fine and dandy. I got 100 ADA in my mnemonic-based wallet. Now, if I go to the hardware wallet and choose unlock with Ledger, now I'm opening a completely different wallet, right? It's the wallet whose private keys are on this ledger. So, all right, it wants me to export the public key by pressing both buttons, which I'll do, and then confirm. All right, so there's my ADA wallet. Now I could get an address, right? I could copy the address, then I could log out of the wallet and go back over here to my mnemonic wallet. I could paste in the mnemonic and open up or unlock that wallet, which let's say it has 100 ADA in there. And then I would just click send and paste in the address of the Ledger-based wallet. They don't have to be open to receive funds. And then after I made the transfer, I could go back to the hardware wallet and see my see the funds come in. So I know it's a little complicated when you're moving cryptocurrency back and forth, especially when you have the same cryptocurrency in different wallets, and it gets confusing. I get confused. I have several Tron wallets scattered around. I've got a desktop. I've got some extensions in Chrome. I have Tron on 2 different of my ledgers, so I get a little confused sometimes too. So don't feel like the Lone Ranger, but you kind of want to wrap your head around this idea of...
Hey, Alex.
It's okay, buddy.
I can never draw Texas.
You trying to draw Texas? He gets a little upset sometimes. Nothing like his dad, right? I scream when no one's around. Questions and setups. What do you think of Litecoin, and is ADA still a good move? Not financial advice, of course. Good question. Good, well-phrased question. Well, if we look at the... I like ADA and I like Litecoin. I think they both have good use cases. ADA is a very ambitious project, which is trying to be what they term themselves as the 3rd generation of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin being 1st generation, Ethereum being 2nd generation, and then Cardano being 3rd generation. Although Ethereum is not really meant to be an extension of Bitcoin, right? Ethereum is kind of a new thing. So calling it 2nd generation is not really an improvement over Bitcoin. It's different than Bitcoin. But anyway, Cardano is run by Charles Hoskinson, I believe, who was involved in the Ethereum project. So they've gone out, they've created a new cryptocurrency, and they're trying to make it as good as, science-based as possible. Now, the only drawback, the criticisms people get with ADA is it hasn't really evolved into any use cases yet. Really, there are some. There's wallets and there's things like that, and it has a value. But Tron has kind of pushed forward into trying to do everything fast, whereas Cardano tends to be a little more careful the way that it moves, so to speak. But if we look at the price chart, well, let's go back to Brave and do that. If we go back to the price chart of Cardano, let's go back to, please. Right, Cardano is currently number 9. And this is the all-time chart, right? So we'll see that its high was $1 in January of 2018, right? And then it was around 35 cents in May of 18. And during crypto winter, especially in November, it really hit its lows, right? We see it down here, almost less than 5 cents. So as far as I was concerned, it was beaten way down, and it had plenty of upside potential. Now it's approaching a dime again, 10 cents. And I remember back in January here, as it was going down, it seemed, wow, it's really getting cheap, you know. Oh, it's down around 15 cents. It's cheap. I'm sure that I bought some Cardano right around here, right when it was down around 15 cents, and I thought, oh my gosh, you know, it's so low now compared to where it was. And I probably bought some as it went down to 11 cents, right? And then once it got down to around 4 cents or 3, I was like, my God, is it ever going to come back? So in my view, it still has some upward potential. Not financial advice, of course. Just my take on where I think the price of Cardano is going. And that is completely independent of where I think Cardano, the coin, the ecosystem, the blockchain is going. There's a lot of potential for all of the cryptocurrency as long as they have good focus and a good use case. And this is not some fly-by-night operation. Cardano's been around for a while. It's been before November. I thought it was around before then. We could look at it exactly, but it's been around. So it's a solid coin, right? And I always say, if you're looking for a decent investment and you're into the cryptocurrency thing, and that's very speculative, and you could lose everything, mind you. But if you're going to invest in cryptocurrencies and you don't know anything else, stick with the top 10 or 20, right? If you see some coin that's, you know, it's ranked 156 and someone tells you it's gonna go to the moon or whatever, take that with a grain of salt, you know. But when you're dealing with the cryptocurrencies in the top 10 or 20, you're looking at pretty solid coins. That's not to say that they may like not make it. You know, what was it? Not Toys R Us, Toys.com. You know, Toys.com never made it. Amazon made it, but there were a lot of retail websites that didn't make it. So just because they're in the right sector doesn't mean they're going to make it. But you're better off in the top 10 or 20 than you are down in the hundreds. You know, you might get lucky, or you might know some inside information, or you might have done your research and you know that, you know, the coin is a good investment. But if you don't know much about cryptocurrency and you're willing to risk a little bit of money, then probably the top 10 or 20. Hey, Scott, he made it with his jumping dolphin. I like it.
More
paper?
All right.
We ran out of paper.
Linux Lewis, explain 0x. Why is it on Coinbase? I think I have a little bit of it somewhere. Oh God.
All for the United States.
Ah, good. Cardano let me out. Anyway, I do have some 0x, I believe. Why is it on Coinbase? That's a good question. It's kind of an Ethereum, Tron, ecosystem-based type coin, right? And it's let's see, where is it? Here it is. It's 37. So it's no slouch. It's not in the top 10 or 20, but it's in 37. Had a good run, right? And it's relatively cheap, right? 35 cents up today. What is it? What does it do? Oh, it powers decentralized exchanges. So it's sort of a coin that an underlying utility token that powers decentralized exchanges. So I think there are some exchanges based on the 0x protocol right now. It's still pretty speculative right now. I mean, nothing, no big players are using this, but it has the potential of, let's see, what do we got? So here's a couple of their use cases, right? So, but that's basically what it is. It's a decentralized exchange utility type token, right? So, and decentralized exchanges are the up and coming. There are a lot of decentralized exchanges out there. There have been, but that seems to be the way people want to go now. That are worried about the centralized exchanges like Coinbase, Binance, Bittrex getting hacked. Right? The decentralized exchanges, you control your own wallet. A little more of a learning curve on those, but a little safer, more safe to use than the centralized exchanges. But you need a little bit more savvy to deal with those decentralized exchanges. Tap token. Why is it on Coinbase? I don't know. You know, Coinbase didn't really. Coinbase has taken some criticism for putting some coins on and other coins not being on. So, but the idea is, I believe, if it's on Coinbase, it's a solid coin. That's usually the way people tend to see it. It's still going to be a speculative investment, but if you're on Coinbase, then you must have something going for you, right? But there were some questionable decisions that Coinbase made that people criticized. Why did they choose this coin and not this coin? I don't know that it was 0x, but I bought a little bit of 0x just to have some. Nothing major. Oh, the tap token. Let's check that out. I think someone has asked me about this before. Is that it? TAP? Tap token. Let's try this. Okay, so it's an ERC20 token. I don't know why I can't seem to find it. Is that its TAP? I don't know why it wouldn't be here. Huh. Okay. Ability to export game currency into other games. Okay, so it's sort of kind of a universal game token, so that if I have in-game currency like Roblox or Robux or some other type of gaming platforms in-house currency, I'd be able to trade them using tap token. I believe that's the idea. Not a bad idea. There's a lot of you know, a lot of people that think in terms of, for example, Robux. My daughter is always asking, you know, telling me, oh, you know, this costs so and so many Robux, and that's, you know, that in real money that's $100 or whatever, that sort of thing. So. My phone can't see me. Okay. But I don't know that much about tap, so I can't really talk about it much. So, let's see. Okay, Scott brings up a good point. Coinbase is expensive. So, when you, let's say you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, I believe their merchant charge, and that's just the purchase when you buy it. That's about $384. You know, that's pretty high percentage to pay for Bitcoin. So there are cheaper ways to buy Bitcoin. My current favorite is, let me see if I'm still running this. I think I'm still running this. Yeah. My current favorite now is the Cash app. So with the Cash app, you can add cash to the app, right? And then after you have some cash in there, you can go to Bitcoin and you can buy Bitcoin, right? And when you buy Bitcoin with the Cash app, it's the fee is very low, so you get more for your money, right? They don't charge you as much as Coinbase, and when you get that Bitcoin, you can withdraw the Bitcoin, right? You can move it somewhere else. The only downside to the Cash app is the only one they have is Bitcoin. So when I go to Coinbase, I can buy Litecoin, I can buy Ethereum, I can buy all of those very conveniently and transfer them. So if I wanted to say buy, if I wanted to buy Cardano right now and I needed to fund my Bittrex or Binance account with a cryptocurrency, I generally choose Litecoin because it's faster. So if I went to the Cash app and bought Bitcoin, I would need to transfer the Bitcoin over to my exchange account, sell the Bitcoin for Cardano or whatever else I want, and then I can withdraw the Cardano to my own wallet. So, and I even thought, well, I'll use the Cash app to buy some Bitcoin, and then I'll send it to Coinbase, and then from there I can trade it for Litecoin or Ethereum or something else that I want. But it just seemed a little weird to fund Coinbase with cryptocurrency when I've always used it as my jump off point in the past. But it is a cheaper way. Now there's also Uphold wallet that you can use. If you're looking for an alternative to Coinbase, the Uphold wallet is a good example. I don't know if I can get into it right now or not, but Uphold is kind of a hot wallet. It's like a cross between Coinbase and a regular wallet, right? So you can use it to store your cryptocurrency, but you don't really hold the private keys. You can restore it if it breaks down, or if you can reinstall it. You just re-sign in, basically, right? You sign into it, and let's see. I think I'm pretty sure, yeah. So you can sign into it just like you would Coinbase. You can add two-factor authentication to it. Have to use this other phone. I'm in the process of migrating all of my I'm in the process of migrating my Google Authenticator codes to a new phone. I'm getting close to the end. But now that we're in the Uphold wallet, we can actually fund this wallet with US dollars. But the trading fees and the merchant charges are similar to Coinbase. Maybe about the same, maybe a little less, but there are reasons some people use Uphold. Some people are unable to interact with Coinbase. I think Scott mentioned that he can't use Coinbase in Hawaii for some reason, but he can use Uphold. So you might be in Canada, you might be in Europe, and Uphold will work for you better than Coinbase for whatever reason. Right? Maybe you're not able to get into Coinbase from your country. So Uphold is a good alternative. So Uphold, the Cash app, and as far as the cheapest one, I think the Cash app is the best way to go. There are probably some other, iOS-based, Android-based apps that you can use to purchase Bitcoin directly You know, if you link a debit card and fund it with your debit card or bank account, then you can buy cheaper. But like I said, it's not as simple to use and not as versatile as Coinbase. Coinbase is very easy to use, very quick and easy, very intuitive, has a wide selection of cryptocurrencies that you can choose from, but the merchant charges are a bit high, right? Yeah, I cannot argue with that. Is it safe for a non-techie to run a full Monero node? Well, the thing about Monero, the thing that makes Monero a little bit difficult, and just running a wallet, you'll run into this, is that most of the antivirus and anti-malware software out there treats Monero wallets and Monero mining software as malware. And the reason it does that is because there are a lot of people installing Monero miners on other people's computers. And so it's considered malware. And just the wallet itself. Like you try to download the Monero wallet and run it, your antivirus software will flag it. Sometimes it'll just delete it outright. So that's one pitfall that you run into. And a lot of newbies are uncomfortable overriding their malware and their antivirus software because you have to whitelist it to get it to run right. So that's a little tricky for a newbie. And, you know, I'll get people, they'll say, "Are you sure this is okay? My antivirus is telling me it's a virus." And I go, well, it's not. It just thinks it's a virus. Because in many cases it is, you know. In most cases, if there's a Monero wallet running on your computer, it's probably malware that you accidentally downloaded from some website by mistake, and they're mining Monero on your computer and sending the proceeds to their wallet, right? So is it safe? Yeah, if you know what you're doing. Now, the question is about running a full Monero node, which is different than the wallet. The wallet doesn't necessarily have to run as full node. It can run kind of like a light client. But the wallet also has the ability to become a full node for Monero. And if you want to contribute to the community and run a full node to you know, add robustness to the entire Monero blockchain, then you know, more power to you. But in order to do that effectively, you need to keep your machine on a good portion of the day. I mean, if you're only running your machine an hour or two a day, it doesn't really make sense to run a full Monero node. But if you're planning on contributing to the community by lending your processing power to the Monero blockchain, then it's a noble effort, but might be a little daunting for a newbie to do. You're much better off just maybe running the wallet. See how that goes for you before you run the full node. So Sailor to Life can't use Coinbase either. Now there are always the, I'm going to close a bunch of tabs here. There are always the other alternatives, but then they're expensive too. So we talked before about maybe Paxful. Right? You can buy Bitcoin on Paxful, but you're going to pay a premium. Right? So Paxful has, it's like a use case if you're trying to buy anonymously and you're using a VPN or Tor and you know, an email that's not associated with you. You can sort of bend Paxful to your will to purchase some Bitcoin anonymously, sort of. That's one of its use cases. Or you've got gift cards and you want Bitcoin, or you know, that's another use case. But you can sell all kinds of different types of gift cards to get Bitcoin. But you're paying a premium. right? And it's a peer-to-peer market, so you have to find somebody that's selling the Bitcoin for a reasonable rate based on what you've got, right? And sometimes what you have no one wants, right? Like maybe you have a Toys R Us gift card. No one's bidding on those, right? So you have to have something somebody wants, like an Amazon gift card. So, and then there's local Bitcoins, where it's another peer-to-peer way, and if you, it's not that intuitive, it's not that easy to use, but there are, if you get the hang of this, you might be able to pull off a purchase of Bitcoin, either through their website or through their person. You meet the person. It's like Craigslist for Bitcoin, but you have to be careful. You might, be dealing with a dishonest person. There are a lot of pitfalls with stuff like this. But another way to get your hands on some Bitcoin, which might end up being cheaper than Coinbase, right? What is the next target of ADA? Now that I don't know. I'm not that big of a trader type, market analysis type. But we did mention that ADA has a lot of prospects in the long run. So I believe in the project, and I think it's a it's a well thought out project. But I couldn't tell you what the next peak is going to be. But I think right now it's approaching 10. I'll be happy if it gets to a dime, right? 0.898. So it's like right around 9 cents. So who knows? Maybe the next target would be 11 or 12 cents or 15 cents. It's hard to say. I would like to see it at $1. And who knows where it could go if it hits $1 again. But it was $1 this in 2018.
What is it? For what? Oh, for that one?
Yeah, the piece of that. Okay.
So there's a question about Pornhub and testing out some cryptocurrencies. I don't think it's the only...
Alex?
guys, please.
Alex. Hey, it's fine. I'll give you a piece of that.
All right.
Hey, you have your own. I like on the table.
And the reason they were using Verge is a privacy-based coin. So I think the idea there is that people want to keep those types of things private and personal, and so a privacy coin is a good fit. So I don't know why they wouldn't accept Monero. They may, but that's primarily why they chose Verge. And I think Verge at the time did a lot of pumping of their own on their end, trying to get the deal to go through. I think they presented themselves as a good fit, and I think they ended up having to basically pay to get their coin accepted. But Verge has had some problems with some 51% attacks. It's kind of a small project. There's not a lot of activity development-wise, so we're not sure what's going to happen with Verge. If the price starts to go back up again and they can attract some more interest and maybe some more talent for the development side, we might see it work out. Tron is also a kind of a good fit. Tron is aggressively marketing themselves as the go-to coin for dApps, and also to be accepted as currency, right? So of course Tron is a good fit. Okay, Suburban Black Boy Radio, very interesting name, just tipped me. I appreciate that. So I don't know if he had a question.
Thanks for the tip.
Thanks for the tip. But if you do have a question, throw one out. What is the difference between Verge and Monero? Well, they're basically two different projects. And a lot of people bag on Verge because it's not as private as it claims to be. Verge has two different modes, but there are other privacy coins like Zcash also has two modes, right? You can do the public payment method or the private payment method. Whereas I think Monero is primarily a full-blown privacy coin, and it's been around a while. And I think there's a lot of interest and talent in the Monero space, right? Let's look at this. Whoops, coin market cap.
Oh, I thought that was actually.
Let's check Monero. Monero is currently number 13. Monero is a much more solid project, I believe, than Verge. As you can see, its price is much higher than Verge. Verge is less than a penny. Monero now, and also if we think about it, I don't know where Verge is right now, but you also look at its total circulating supply, 16 million. So it's very similar to Bitcoin circulating supply, right? Whereas Verge is probably, the circulating supply of Verge is probably much, much higher, right? What is that, 18 billion? Wait, 100 million, no wait, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, right? So it's 15 billion circulating supply. So of course, the value is more watered down per coin, right? But Monero has been around for quite a while, right? All the way back to 14. This is May 20, 2014. So a much more established coin, established project. Very interesting coin. You might want to check it out. Might want to check out Monero. A little difficult to buy and store because you hear stuff like, oh well, don't buy Monero on a centralized exchange because then they'll know you're buying it, which is true. So but where else are you going to buy? You got to buy it somewhere. But like with a Bitcoin public address, like if I give you my Bitcoin address, you can go on the Blockchain Explorer and look at that public address and see all my transactions in and out of that public address. Monero is not like that. If I send you my Monero address and then you try to run it in Explorer, it's going to say something like, hey, it looks like you're trying to check out this dude's wallet. It's kind of funny. I wish I had a Monero address we could play with. It does that. But it does. It's like, ooh, you're not supposed to do that. So it has public addresses. It uses private public key cryptography. You have the private key, and then you give out the public key to people you want to send you money. But it's not transparent the way Bitcoin is and the way lots of other cryptocurrencies are. So it keeps the transactions private as well as secure. Suburban, you helped me out a lot. Thank you. Oh, well, that's nice. Suburban Black Boy Radio. Doesn't seem politically correct name, but if you say it real fast, it works out. Chris Cass, Rex, it doesn't matter what coin you pick. You just buy and hold, get money, and that's just look at the top 20. And that's that. Just look at the top 20. Yeah, I like that. It's a good philosophy. I have to say I bought a lot of coins in 2017. And I don't think I cashed out a little bit in January with some Bitcoin. But all of the altcoins that I bought in 2017, I just held on to. I thought I was going to be rich in 2018. It turned out it wasn't like that. The 2018 was the crypto winter. But I'll have to say I did not sell a single coin that whole year. I bought more, right? and I would trade to get the coin I wanted. It's not, I would buy Bitcoin, sell it for Monero, or buy Bitcoin and buy Cardano or whatever. But I wasn't selling any of the coins that I owned, right? I held all through 2018 because I believe in the sector, right? And I'm not a trader guy. And I think it makes taxes easier when you don't sell. Down the road, if you got $100,000 profit, then you can afford to go hire a tax attorney and say, hey, I'm about to cash out 100 grand, you know, what is your advice? You know, pay him $300 to give you the right tax advice, you know, and have him file your taxes for you. So, but just buying and selling on dips and you know, ups and downs, that's not my thing. Some people do that to their advantage, and they do well at it, but that's not my thing. And I'm really not here to give you trading advice either. I'm here to help you learn how to move coins around and deal with coins and addresses, that sort of thing. So when are we all going to be rich? It would be great. I dumped all my coins at the peak. That's good. In January 2000, well, that's good, yeah. I dumped not all of my coins at the peak, because at the peak I cashed out and then I shifted assets into altcoins that I thought were going to be you know, the next best, the next big thing. But when the market crashed, I was left holding a bunch of altcoins that I had basically paid too much for, even though I mostly used profits to pay for them. So I just held on to them. Where do you get most of your knowledge from? Any helpful websites or apps you would recommend? That's a good, yeah, well, the reason I started my channel was because I couldn't find any one definitive website or source that gave me all the information I needed in sort of like a package, right? If I wanted to do something, I had to get a little information here, I had to check out a Reddit post there, or I had to go watch some YouTube video, but nothing, there was never like a step-by-step from point A to point Z, step-by-step tutorial with examples for me. And that's why I started this channel, was because I start from, okay, here's what we want to do, here's how we're going to do it, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll walk you through the entire thing. And then at the end, you not only have I explained it, but you've watched me do it, right? So that's what I'm all about. So as far as my first advice would be, check out my channel. If you're looking to do something that involves cryptocurrency, check out my videos, right? You can go to my homepage. I've got over 250 videos. And let's say you're looking for Monero, right? And you want to know about Monero. How do I buy it? How do I move it? How do I store it? I have several Monero videos, right? Best way to buy Monero. How to store on the Ledger. How to install the Monero wallet, right? This Monero private thing didn't really go anywhere. But yeah, that's where I would start. I mean, because I spent the last couple of years putting up this knowledge base, so to speak. And not all of my videos got that many views. I mean, you can see the Monero video only has 2,000 views. And the how to store Monero using the Ledger Nano X only has 11,000 views. That's not a lot by YouTube standards. But if you really want to learn and you want to see a step-by-step example where I show you exactly what I'm doing and do every step, I actually spend my own money to buy something and move it and then put it in a wallet. I've watched other videos where the guy, he'll be stepping you through and then he'll go, well, I'm not actually going to buy it right now, but if I was, you would click this and then it would go. It was like, well, I don't want to hear somebody tell me what would maybe happen. You know, I want to see him actually do it. And that's why, you know, sometimes I'm ready to make a video and I'm like, you know what, I can't afford to buy $100 worth of crypto right now, so I'm not going to do the video. But then other times I'll just buy $25 worth. And people might think, geez, you know, what's the point of buying $25 worth of Bitcoin? Well, I can move it into my wallet, you know. So, but I always like to actually do what I'm explaining right in front of you. And that's why I do the screen share thing. But I haven't moved any crypto around tonight. I'm not sure where I was, what I was going to do. Does anybody... Ada's moving. Oh, let's see. There's a tax software. Let's see if I can find it. I think it's this one, CoinTracker.io. I think this is the big one, right? A lot of people are recommending it. I'd like to get into it and maybe use it. I played around with it a little bit. I think it's pretty simple to connect it to your Coinbase account. You link it to your Coinbase account and it can download your transactions and review them and give you reports. You have to buy it, of course. So you can sync to Binance, Bitfinex, Bittrex, Kraken, Coinbase. So if you're not sure what to do and you, like, maybe you have a tax accountant but he doesn't know much about cryptocurrency, maybe CoinTracker is a good way to bridge that gap, right? You get the CoinTracker, sync it to your wallet, download some of those transactions and reports, and then you can take them to your tax accountant and let him take a look at everything. And that would probably be my advice. I haven't followed through completely on this, so I don't know if it's the best, but it seems to be the most popular, if that's what you're into. And like I said, if you don't sell your coins, if you're just buying and holding, I don't think there's much you have to worry about, right? I have to worry a little bit because sometimes I'll buy Bitcoin on Coinbase and then I'll trade it on Bittrex for another coin. Now, and usually I'm doing that within minutes, so I'm not gaining or losing really much of anything on the transaction, but I am swapping one coin for another in principle, so I believe that's a taxable event. But the way I see it, it's not a huge problem because there's not a lot of profit or loss on any of those quick swaps, right? But if you've been buying and selling all year long, you probably want to get something like this to help you get a handle on it, because you don't want to just ignore it, because cryptocurrency is pretty transparent, especially when you're using the big, like Bittrex and Coinbase are both US-based cryptocurrency exchanges. So they, you know, I'm sure the government can subpoena them if there's any questions, right? Like if they decide to audit you, I'm sure they could ask them, or they might, you know, if you get audited, they would probably want to see your transaction registers from these two. Probably see big drop again this year at some point, and then possibly out of the weeds. Still need to report a trade, right? 0-0 gain, you want to track it, right? Yeah, even if it's an even swap, you want to have it. So all of these exchanges have records of all of these. So this is probably a decent. Now you could just go into the exchanges and download you know, CVS files, but I think the CoinTracker does a better job probably, and I believe they have you install APIs in your accounts so that they can interface properly with your cryptocurrency accounts. It's more fun than way Linux. BTC will crash. That's not very optimistic. Okay, well, I hope that Bitcoin, I mean, it would be my hope that Bitcoin would just rise steadily. You know, and of course it can't always go up, but over the long haul, I would like to see the price continue an upwards momentum, just to prove all of the naysayers wrong. I really get tired of my friends telling me that, you know, it's worthless, and because they read Forbes, or they read, you know, they watch CNBC or whatever. I would basically just like to say, hey, I told you so. I knew this was a good, you know, sector. I knew many years ago that the internet was going to be a big thing, you know, back in the late 90s, but I didn't really capitalize on it. So I'm poised now to watch this thing grow. That's my hope. TurboTax, I believe, also has some cryptocurrency features as well, right? All right, so I haven't moved any crypto around today. Why don't we move, let's see. Oh, let me stick with ADA. We did some ADA before. Let's move some ADA into, well, let me see if I can get this going here. Sometimes it doesn't sync well. Whoops. Okay, great. Thank you. Period. If there's any slips, you can leave them in that drop box next to the door. Period. I'm wondering if he's ever going to get it on the wall or not. It may or may not sync properly when I'm streaming. We'll see. It might take a while. Oh, no, it looks pretty close. All right, so let's sign in to the ADA wallet. I got to put in my PIN again. Hopefully I don't mess that up. Let's do that. I got to move something around tonight. I haven't done any. I've just been blabbering all night. I'm just going to go into the ADA. All right, I need to export the private key and confirm. All right, so we've got some ADA in the wallet, 252. Let's move some out. So we'll do the send. So we need a receiving address. Let's take a look at, it's so close. It's getting 77, 78. Yeah, it looks like we don't have to wait too long. So what I'll do is I'll move it from the Ledger-based wallet into the Daedalus wallet, right? For so long, the last year or so, Daedalus has been really the only way to store Cardano. I guess this ADA Lite website had where you were able to store Cardano on that. I never used it until the Ledger-based wallet was available. I think we're almost there. Let's take a look.
Where's the bell?
Your parents are the prime targets to be scammed. Alright, so let me move some into the demo wallet. I'm going to hit receive here, and that's my public address, my public Cardano address. You can also generate new addresses, right? So let's say I want to try to maintain privacy a little bit by switching up on the receiving addresses. I can enter my password, right, and generate a brand new address, right? That way, if someone looks at my wallet address, they won't see my whole transaction history. They'll just see the short transaction history for this one. Right, so let's go over here and we'll put in that receiving address, and I'll send 100. Right, and it calculates a fee for me, and then I can send it. Now I'm going to confirm that, right, and then I have to confirm on the device. This is where the private key is signing the transaction, and so I have to allow that. Right, that is the security of the device, and the private key. So I have to do that. Oh, I have to hit both buttons. Right, the private key is on the ledger, right? But the interface is this website, right? But I'm not really storing anything in the website itself, right? The website is just an interface. Is it going to do it or not? Oh, there's a transaction fee. I got to confirm that too. Sorry. All right, now we're good. All right. So I think a lot of people get confused. They go, oh, I'm keeping ADA in the ADA Lite wallet. Well, you are. You're using it as the interface to the private key that's stored on the ledger. And these private keys are just ways to unlock balances and move them around on the ADA blockchain. So you're never really holding the coins. The coins are always on the blockchain. But you have full control of the coin by virtue of controlling that private key. So if someone else has the private key, they can just go pull those coins off that address and move them somewhere else to their own wallet. Right? Let's go back to demo. And, oh, is it already there? Yeah, that's it. All right, so it came in already. So that was Cardano wallet to Cardano wallet. So as you can see, if you have a Cardano wallet and I have a Cardano wallet, sending Cardano back and forth is pretty fast and straightforward, right? And the fee is not that much smaller than, say, a credit card merchant fee. And, you know, nobody else is involved. Nobody else knows we're sending money to each other. Not that we're criminals, but we all have a right to have financial privacy. Just like, you know, we have curtains on our windows because we don't want people looking in while we're having dinner or watching TV or whatever. We want our privacy. So there's nothing wrong with wanting privacy in your financial transactions either. You know, and there are a lot of people bash privacy, like, you know, you know, cryptocurrencies are all used by criminals, and money laundering, and, you know, all these terms are made up to sort of try to steal our financial privacy. You know, just because I want to send some value to a friend of mine and I don't want everyone else to know about it doesn't make me a criminal. So we should all have privacy in our interactions with people that we know and trust. There's nothing wrong with that. So I can send you Cardano, you can send me Cardano. It can be viewed on the blockchain. It's not totally private, but it's not bad, right? At least I don't have to tell you my life story just to, you know, send you some Cardano. All I need to know is your address, and I'll trust that once I send you the Cardano, you'll acknowledge that I did, right? You won't just deny that I sent it to you. Yeah, so Mike A says Cardano was one of the alts that started the 2017 bull run, which it was very hot back then. It was. And so hopefully we're going to blow some people's mind. Okay, so Chris Cass is saying Daedalus was bashed for whatever reason. I've never lost any money in Daedalus. There may have been a few bugs or flukes, but I mean, if it was a totally worthless wallet and you always lost your money, nobody would be using it. Right? So yeah, you're always going to hear some negative stories about everything, you know. But as far as my experience has been, the only major problem with Daedalus was it not syncing to the blockchain properly. And if you were trying to, you know, if you downloaded the Daedalus wallet and it wasn't syncing to the blockchain and you're sending Cardano to this address that hasn't even initialized yet, then maybe, you know, you might lose what you're doing. Most of the people that are losing cryptocurrency are doing it because they're not following the steps properly. I don't want to, you know, badmouth anybody that I don't know, but my experience is the Daedalus wallet works just fine. I've never had a problem with it, except for it taking too long to sync to the Cardano blockchain. That having said that, though, the ledger-based solution is a good way to store Cardano more secure. And I'm hoping that that Daedalus pretty soon will have like add wallet, and then it'll have a ledger-based way of using Daedalus to store Cardano, and then it'll interface with the private key on the ledger. That's not out of the realm of possibility. Monero has that now. The desktop Monero wallet has an option to use the hardware-based private key. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for Daedalus to do that down the road too. So okay, would it work if we had a big community where we all set our profile pictures as our BTC QR codes and we could tip very small amounts for funny or useful comments instead of thumbs up? Well, Linux is talking about using micropayments of cryptocurrency to reward people either on for posting videos or posting blogs or posting comments. Instead of giving a thumbs up, why can't we just do a micropayment? And that's you know, that's the idea behind Brave, is that there's a built-in Brave. When Brave first came out, the plan was to use Bitcoin, and you know, you had a Bitcoin-based wallet integrated into Brave, and you used it for micropayments. Well, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. Mostly, I think, because of the volatility of Bitcoin, and so they devised their own utility token called BAT, Basic Attention Token. And that's the idea, is that you can micropay people for good comments. You know, a thumbs up, it costs you, you know, 0.0001 penny. It's not going to be any skin off your teeth to give someone a thumbs up. The idea is that somebody that gets 100,000 thumbs up is going to make, you know, a few $100 or whatever, $100, whatever it is. That's the idea of micropayments. And then, since someone mentioned the tap system earlier, and that's another idea where it's based on, you know, there's a utility token that can move value back and forth for small amounts, or you know, trading value, say between games. That's the idea, right? All right, so we got our 100 moved. That was about all I did. All right, so Ricky Chan has good things to say about ADA. Can you say how to data mining in Linux, which is this efficient? I'm not. I have some videos on Linux, but I haven't run Linux in quite a while. And then you can run mining software in Linux. You can run mining software in Windows. I guess if you run miners in Linux, it's a little more secure. But a lot of mining rigs, like the Bitmain mining rigs, run their own version of Linux. The little ASIC miners, they are actually running Linux under the hood, a very simplified version of Linux. and you really can't go in there and fool around much. They've locked you out. But that's basically, you know, the core of an ASIC miner is a Linux-based operating system. And I'm assuming it's more efficient because there's less overhead than Windows. Windows has a lot of bloatware, you know, an interface on top of interface. So you're probably better off running a miner using a Linux box than you would be a Windows box. You just kind of have to know your stuff to run Linux. It's not for the faint of heart. Oh, yeah, so we're talking about the early days of Cardano. It went from 2 cents to $1 in less than 3 months. Let's hope we see that one again. Snafu, I like this. A new generation of millennials are smarter than most think and more independent. Crypto offers a wonderful opportunity to become your own personal bank/banker. Oh, I wanted to bring up this article that I was reading before we started. The Coinbase CEO names 3 things crypto needs for mass adoption. And I'll paste this in to the... where are we here? Yeah, I'll paste this one in down here. I'll just put it down here. It's a good article about cryptocurrency in general and what it needs really to move forward. And one is to reduce volatility. It needs to be more stable for people to take it seriously and start investing in it. Scalability. It needs to be able to handle a lot of transactions cheaply, right? It needs to be able to do, you know, millions of transactions per second if it's ever going to be adopted by people that are currently using the credit card system, right? And it probably can get that way. But the main thing, I think what was the last thing? Usability, right? I think that's really important. Usability is getting better than it was, but it's still not easy to use cryptocurrency. I mean, people have a hard enough time just wrapping their head around buying it on a centralized exchange, right? Let alone trying to withdraw it and put it into their own wallet. So, you know, one of the criticisms of Bitcoin is that the exchanges are getting hacked a lot. And my answer to that is to put it in your own wallet. But a lot of people really just aren't capable of doing that at this point in time. If it was easier, I think more people would store their Bitcoin locally or their Litecoin locally, and it would become more robust and secure to use cryptocurrencies. But it's so difficult to download and install cryptocurrency wallets that it's going to be a while before that becomes second nature to people. I think maybe the phone is more where we'll see more apps being rolled out that are easier for people to use. You know, I think the Coinbase wallet is trying to do that, trying to be an easy way to store cryptocurrencies locally on your own device, much more securely. But the problem is that most people don't take storing things seriously. You know, they don't want to take the time to write down the seed phrase or the private key or whatever. You know, I hear so many sob stories about, oh, I had, you know, 100 Bitcoin in a blockchain wallet back in 2014, and now I can't remember the password and I can't find the seed, you know. And that's pretty common, you know. You hear that all the time. Oh, I got locked out of my LinkedIn account because I couldn't remember the password. I mean, people just need to be more rigorous when it comes to dealing with cryptocurrencies. And I think that the way technology is now people are sort of being dumbed down. They're not being rigorous, and they're encouraged not to be rigorous, right? Things should be getting easier for people. So if they can find a way to bridge those two, you know, people can be rigorous about keeping things backed up, and learn how to store their own cryptocurrency, hold it, transfer it to someone they want, use it to buy something they want, accept it as payment for stuff they do. You know, like I'm a music teacher, I can accept Bitcoin on my phone. I just hold up my phone and I'll give you my QR code and you can transfer money to me. I mean, that's the idea, right? We want to make it easier for people to use cryptocurrency. And I think it'll get there. But that it does need to happen. It needs to become easier for people to use cryptocurrency. I think this is a really decent article by a guy who really knows what he's talking about, because this is the CEO of Coinbase, right? The whole idea behind Coinbase was to make buying cryptocurrencies easier, and I think they've achieved that. Now they need to teach people how to use cryptocurrency, and people need to find easier ways of dealing with it. No, it's not user-friendly at all. What wallet do you recommend for holding high amounts? Well, my recommendation, as you could probably tell if you've watched my channel, is some form of hardware-based wallet to hold your private keys offline rather than exposing them online. There are a lot of decent desktop wallets for storing your cryptocurrency, but they suffer from that weakness that they could be hacked if your machine is compromised. So your best bet is a hardware-based wallet like the Ledger Nano S, the Trezor, the Ledger Blue. There's a few good ones out there, but I think Ledger is leading the pack. And that would, if you're going to store large amounts, do it that way. Now, you could also create paper wallets and store your crypto in those. And that's a very safe offline way to store large amounts of cryptocurrency. Just don't lose the paper, right? Paper burns, paper tears, paper wears out. So paper wallets are a good solution. But if, you know, and then the Ledger Nano S has the weakness of being lost. But as long as you back up that 24-word recovery phrase and keep that somewhere safe in multiple locations, then you can store huge amounts of cryptocurrency and not have to worry, right? But it's all up to you to manage those backups, right? Keep the device in a safe place, keep the backups stored in a safe place, and you know, your crypto is safe. Yeah. Use your Rory wallet for ADA also. Yeah, we've been playing around with this one. The only thing I'm not too crazy about it is it's not it can only, each web browser can only hold one wallet at a time, right? I can't log out of this wallet and log into a different one in the same browser. But other than that, it works pretty well. As you can see, it's interfacing with that private key wallet that we used Ada Lite. We used Ada Lite to send, right? We used the Ada Lite to interface. Both of these interfaces are looking at the same balance, the same wallet. Right? Where we go here. Yeah, see? Same exact wallet, just two different interfaces. And they're all pointing at this cryptocurrency hardware wallet. Right? Yeah. Most people are talking about sports, or I was talking about someone with a friend of mine in the park about why his email wasn't connecting, and someone else said, "Why, boy, this is boring. Can't we talk about The Bachelor or something?" You know, so. Yeah, it takes a special kind of patience to deal with this kind of stuff. But hopefully down the road, there'll be some killer apps that'll make it much easier to deal with cryptocurrencies and allow people to store them safely and securely. All right, guys, sorry I didn't move more crypto around today. I didn't buy anything because the market's up today. So, but there will be a point where I'll show you guys, you know, how to cash out and do that kind of stuff. And the Ledger Nano X should be hopefully coming in the next month or so. It got delayed. Should have been here in March. So let's hope it's here mid-April or late April. It might be longer than that, but when I get that, I'm going to be making a whole slew of new videos on how to deal with the Ledger Nano X. And the promise there is that it's mobile and we don't have to shuffle apps on and off, because it can hold 100 different apps at the same time. So I look forward to dealing with you guys on that. I'm going to start trying to put up some more videos. I have this new phone, so I'm transferring my Google Authenticator those generator accounts onto this from the old phone to the new phone, and I've been recording it. It's a long and tedious process, so I don't know if anyone will watch the video, but I'll try to get that one posted within the week, because I need to return the old phone because it wasn't, it was a return upgrade. So that's in the works too. And until then, guys, throw out any questions that you may have in the comments of any of my videos, and I'll do my best to get your answers for you. Don't forget, every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the live Q&A in LA. I'll do my best to answer all of your questions and give you my non-professional opinions and join in lively discussions. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week too. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to this channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me, and hope to see you again soon. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Betty. Let's hope for the bull run.